Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dragyn podcast. Pull up a seat and pick a drink of your choice. Everything is provided. We are diving into a new topic today, and it is about my life hacks. Now, I'm gonna give a little context to this. My friend Spam gave me the idea that I should talk about the way I managed to basically manage my crazy life. There's a lot going on in my life currently. I'm doing 3 to 4 jobs currently just to kind of keep my teaching skills up, even though I'm not really teaching full time. And also working at a retail store just to survive basically and have that regular income versus the in and out income I get from teaching online, tutoring, all these things. So my life is currently very busy. There's some mornings where I'm up at 4 a.m., other mornings I'm up at 3 a.m. Sometimes I get to sleep until 7 a.m. It's a chaotic life. So when you live a chaotic life, there are things that you do to kind of manage, and you have to basically find a way to manage, or else you sometimes feel like you're drowning. And that's sort of been the context of this week, so it's kind of nice. I'm going to give you guys my advice and the way I handle everything, and then I can also let you know that I haven't lived in this way all week, and I think it's a nice reminder for myself that, you know what, take a deep breath, go back to your roots and the things that have worked, and you'll be okay. So yes, that's it is, my life hacks, and I'll give a little bit of a context. So as I said, I do live a quite busy, chaotic life. I am currently working a regular retail job where I have maybe 3 to 4 shifts a week, and it equals anywhere between 20 to 28 hours. So again, not very consistent, but more consistent than the other jobs. So what I need to do is I need to write down my shifts, what days I work, and make arrangements and plans around those, because that's my main job. Makes sense. Then I also teach with VIP Kid. It's an ESL, so English as a second language school basically. And so all the students are based in China though. So you have to sort of rearrange your schedule to either wake up very early in the morning or stay up very late at night, just to kind of open slots, and hopefully, knock on wood, students will actually book you. So again, not very consistent, and it's very, very flexible. I work very hard with this platform to get qualified with all of the different certification levels they have so that I can teach all the levels they have. I am missing a few right now, and I'm trying to get qualified enough to take those and qualify for those so that my range of students is from very, very to no English at all to where they're building proficiency with it. So I'm working really hard on that, trying to get more bookings and things like that. But that's where sometimes I will have to get up at 3:30 in the morning to teach a 25-minute class for a student. It's insane, but I actually find this work really rewarding, as the students learn so much from the way the classes are structured, the way you have to deliver it. It's actually really, really effective. So I love actually doing this when I get bookings. And so far, I've only had about 2 bookings in the last few months. It's very, very slow and not consistent. Then I have a student that I tutor. However, she isn't the most consistent either. We had agreed back in February that we would meet twice a week, every second week, and once a week in between, basically. So for example, this week should have been Monday, Wednesday. Next week would have been just Wednesday. Then Monday, Wednesday, that kind of thing. However, I always send her reminders and Zoom links, because that's how I tutor, is through Zoom. And she will email me about 45 minutes after we were about to start saying, "I'm sorry, I forgot." And then nothing else. And now she's been radio silent. So it was nice, and I need to actually message the coordinator so I can get my pay because I don't think it's going to continue to work out, but I'm still putting myself out there as a tutor. I do promote my own little like tutoring business and what I can offer and help with and like skills wise as I'm trying to teach English and Spanish, as well as do intercultural training. And I love history, so I can always help with a historical subject or context. So I'm also promoting that and doing that as well. Then, just to add more chaos to my life, why not? I've signed up for a teaching program called OutSchool. So they are just the platform that you use, and you basically run your business how you would like it. What I mean by that is you create your classes, you create your curriculum, the structure for it. If you want to do it as a club format, tutoring format, as a semester class, a one-time class, there's just so many different varieties that you can do without school. So you design your curriculum, you design your classes, you post the materials, you make the materials, and you schedule the times that you're willing to teach the class. It's very cool and very in-depth, and I really have enjoyed it. The only thing is that, again, you open the slots and sections and times, and you just have to wait for parents to sign up their kids for it. So it's not very consistent, although since I started in January, I do at least teach 1 to 2 classes a week with that. So it's getting consistent, but again, not very full-time yet, or not a lot of whole hours in that yet. I'm hoping that it'll pick up more and I can start offering more than just one-time classes right now. So yeah, that's a lot. So what do you do when you have like 4 jobs and you got to figure out timing and placements, as well as playing like D&D and filming a podcast and episodes, as well as being part of Toastmasters? Like, well, oh my goodness, what do you do when you are living a very busy life? Well, my first life hack, if you find yourself being involved in so many different things and you're being spread a little thin, get yourself a planner. It doesn't have to be a super in-depth planner like mine, but at least just something with like the days of the week and where you can write down what you're doing at what time. Seriously, that helps so much. My planner is basically my life. I keep it open on my desk constantly just to make sure if something happens, like I get a booking for a class in VIP Kid or an OutSchool, I immediately write down that time and I can make arrangements for, to be present and wide awake and perky for those classes, because 3 a.m. and perky, that's a lot of work, man. It takes a bit to get there. That's why I like to make coffee at 2 a.m. and just survive the day with coffee. That's also a life hack. There you go. Hey, look at that. Get a planner so you can write down the times and things that you're scheduled for, as well as coffee or some sort of caffeine or tea or something like that. Just anything that can kind of wake you up can really be helpful when your life is chaotic. Now, a lot of people don't like caffeine. Totally fine. You can avoid it, but maybe get yourself that one comfort drink, whether it's like maybe hot chocolate or a glass of chocolate milk or whatever you like to drink. Just get yourself one of those things, and if you start your day off drinking your favorite thing, you usually are in a good mood, usually. But yes, the planner is my life, because I can write down what I do with my planner is I write down my main job schedule first, so the one at the retail job. Write down that schedule first so I have it on what days and what times, and then I can think about, okay, that's where I am the busiest, in quotations. What can I do around the times I work? So then I would go to VIP Kid, for example, and open slots just kind of around that work schedule a little bit. And if I'm already waking up early, for example, for a shift, like if I start at 7 a.m. and I have to leave the house at 5:30, I will actually open slots before that, like from 3:30 to 5 a.m. Because that's like, I can teach that time. I can always get changed before, make my coffee, and then like just go out the door. If I work a little later in the morning, then I can't quite teach it because I'll be sleeping in, and I should sleep in. I deserve to sleep in. So that's how I kind of juggle that. And then without school, I like to do it after work, because then I can come home, have some supper, a little bit to eat, and then prepare for the classes. So then I also think about, okay, I work an 8.5 hour shift. I will be out of the house for like 10 hours basically, just due to commute. What would I be willing to offer as a class after a crazy busy work day and commute day? Well, that's when I do my little short 1 hour classes. I will book like maybe 2 of those and have it like scheduled and booked. So maybe I'll pick my learning to build a D&D character class and combat in D&D class. I'll book those 2 sort of back to back. And then that way I know after I teach the last class, I go to sleep and rinse and repeat. But the days that I work like a 4-hour shift or 5-hour shift, I can squeeze in maybe 3 classes there. So again, having a planner really helps because then you can kind of see what your week will be like. Then you have your days off. Those are the days off when I have them, which is nice. I usually do book classes throughout school. I don't necessarily do VIP Kid, but maybe I will start doing that now just to have some more teaching income. But then that's the day where I get everything done. I will do laundry, I'll record the podcast, I'll record Stardew, I will organize my room. Currently I've just moved, so I'm also unpacking and finding room and places for everything. And like that's what I'll do then. I'll also meal prep and I'll just prepare for the week. I'll just take one of my days off completely to do all of that. Jam pack it in. So again, even when I have a day off, guys, I'm not really day offing. Yeah, I'm constantly busy, but that's why a planner is so important. Because if you start to feel overwhelmed, what's nice is that you can always scratch off a thing and move it to the next day. I have done that lots of times when it comes to like the podcast, for example. I wanted to record this last night, Wednesday night basically, before it, because then I can upload it overnight and then basically get it ready for posting. That's what I usually do. However, this week, when I came home yesterday, I was exhausted. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to do anything. So I put it off to today, this morning. Hello, everyone. I'm actually recording the day of. Yeah, it happens. But, sometimes you can just do that. And with a planner, it's so easy to do that. You just circle that little task, draw an arrow to the next day, and then cross that bitch out. That's what I do. It makes me feel a little good. And it's like, haha, yeah, I'm taking those 3 hours to chill tonight. Yes, so that is the planner. That is how I manage my busy life. What's also great about Twitter, I'm just going to throw this in here, why not, is you can now schedule your tweets, which makes it so nice. So when I know that I have a video uploaded and it's there and I can get that shareable link, I can do the tweet for that day and schedule it, and so it'll automatically post so I don't have to consciously think about it. Saves my life. So you guys are learning a lot about how I manage YouTube today. You're welcome. Yep, I'm very organized. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I do forget on occasion to post the link on Twitter. But we're all human and it happens. But it's actually really nice that Twitter has that feature. Do we have an edit button yet? No, but maybe one day down the road. If they can schedule a tweet, I'm sure they can edit, right? Right. But yes, so there's that first part of this podcast, that's how I manage a chaotic life. Yes, and I can also, it's really nice too, because if I notice that I'm having really busy days, so Mondays and Saturdays for me, for example, are super busy because I am teaching. Both days I have Toastmasters on Saturday. Mondays I have 2 D&D sessions. I feel like there's a lot going on there. I can go to my work, change my availability, and then boom, I don't have to stress. I don't have to worry about moving things around based on a very ever-changing schedule for work. So that's nice too. And you guys might notice that too for yourselves. If you start kind of writing down the things you do every day or every week, you're going to be like, wow, no wonder I'm freaking exhausted on a Friday. I have like 8 million things going on a Friday. if you can afford it and manage it, maybe take that day off or ask for half a day availability instead. It might help. You never know. But yeah, that's my first recommendation and my first life hack. Having a planner to manage your crazy life, because life is crazy. My next hack, my next advice thing is to set a routine. Now, we always hear this, right? Make sure you go to bed at the same time every day and wake up at the same time every day. Make sure you do this. Make sure you eat 3 meals a day. Make sure you do blah, blah. I'm here to tell you that sometimes that doesn't freaking work. Now, when I say set a routine, I actually put a little extra to this. My advice is actually to set a routine with wiggle room. We are human. We are constantly changing. We are all constantly dealing with things. We are constantly just going through so much, especially this past year. It's okay that you went to bed at 10 p.m. one night because, you wanted to stay up and talk to a friend because you were feeling lonely. It's okay to go to bed at 8 p.m. because you've had an exhausting day and you want extra sleep. As long as you're falling asleep in like a range of things and waking up at a range of times, you know what? You're doing better than most. I really recommend it. Maybe instead of setting your bedtime at like 9 p.m., hardcore 9 p.m., say that you're going to fall asleep anywhere between 8 to 10 p.m. Because then that way you have that 2 hours. And sometimes you need that 2 hours to just come down from the day, lay in bed, watch videos, go through Twitter, scroll through things. You just need that me time. So that's my recommendation. And then wake up times, I'm awful at this, guys, because as you hear, my life sometimes starts at 3 a.m., sometimes at 4 a.m., and sometimes at 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm not consistent at waking up at all, but as long as I'm waking up sometime in the morning and going to bed at night, that is my routine. There is no fixed time. There is no fixed exact way to live my life, It's in that range. Some of you may have a totally different lifestyle. Maybe you guys are always closing at your work. So maybe you are falling asleep around 2, 4 a.m. and then waking up at like 12 to 2 p.m. That's okay. That is your lifestyle. Accept it. Embrace it. If you're going through a job change or a shift change, though, readjusting to what's new is hard. But give yourself time to do it. There is no rush. It's very hard to quit anything cold turkey. So what I mean by that is it's really hard to just suddenly say, I'm going to bed right now and I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm going to do it. It's hard. Most people are not that way. Most people. So give yourself that flexibility, that wiggle room, and just accept it. This also leads to like food and eating. Once you begin to realize sort of the kind of times you fall asleep and wake up at, you can begin to figure out when do you need to eat and what do you need to eat. So let's say for me with my crazy schedule, I get up at 3 a.m. sometimes. I will often have breakfast between 3 to 4 a.m. Then my brain kicks in and I'm like, oh boy, when can I eat my next meal? And if it's a work day and I work from 7 till 3:30, then I know that my first break is at 9 a.m. So then I have to think about it. Okay, that'll be 5 hours between eating. Oh boy, what can I do? I will then maybe plan to bring a snack with me in between so I can just kind of nibble on something and go. Or I will actually plan to have like a really like full meal for my work, and then I can split that meal up into 3 ways. I can have it one on my like snack break, my 15-minute break, the main part of it in my 30-minute break, and then a small snack again in my 15. Once you figure out your wiggle room routine, you can start thinking about how you eat and what you need to eat and when you need to eat. Our bodies will tell us normally, unless things are really hard and difficult, then your body tells you that you're sad all the time. I've been there. But, you know, as soon as you start building in that wiggle room, like, okay, I eat somewhere between 3 to 4 a.m. every day. Cool. That means I need to eat somewhere between 8 to 10 a.m. And then again, like 12 to 2, and then like somewhere like 5 to 7 p.m. And then that way you're not stressing yourself out either. You can look at the time going, oh, okay, it's normally the time I want to eat. I'm not that hungry yet. I'll wait an hour. And that way you're not stressed. You're not stressing yourself out about life and living your life. You're just living life, which is so important. So there you go. Quick little review. Have a planner and make sure you kind of keep track of your days if you are that kind of person. Sometimes people like the electronic calendars. Use those if you like. An actual physical planner where you write things down. Just some way to track your week is super helpful, because then you can start realizing your routines and the things that you do constantly, and then you can actually create a routine with wiggle room. And that's the next one there. With wiggle room, you do not have to do everything on the exact hour. I mean, you do that for work, but when you're outside of work, that's not how life works usually. So there's that. Set a routine with wiggle room. And now on to my next thing. As I said, so cutting things out cold turkey, not smart. There's the withdrawal, there's the stress with it, you have to keep managing it. It's not easy. So I actually recommend that you just still enjoy the things that you want and eat, like chocolate and coffee and take out all these things, whatever you're trying to cut out of your life completely. Still enjoy those, but just start maybe ordering a bit less takeout. Maybe start ordering or having like chocolate like 5 times a week instead of 7. You know, you gotta start easing yourself off of things. Our bodies are not built to just go, haha, I've enjoyed this thing for 10 years of my life and I'm just gonna stop today. Our bodies do not like that. Our bodies are like, where's that thing? And they crave it. They need it. Because you have trained your body to need it. So for example, let's take coffee. I drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. Yes, I think I've explained my life enough to tell you why. But let's say I wanted to start, I don't want to drink any more coffee at all, which is crazy to me, but let's pretend that I want to cut out coffee completely. Do you think as someone who is very caffeine driven, that cutting it out completely tomorrow would be healthy? No. I've tried it before and the withdrawals are crazy. You're cranky. I get angry. I want to punch things. I want to I get very cranky. So that would not be a smart idea. But what can I do? Well, maybe have 3 cups of coffee on your busiest days of the week, and then only 2 cups on your slower days. Okay, that's starting to again, wean yourself off of it. Then eventually you can go to 2 cups of coffee per day, completely for the whole week. Then again, 2 cups of coffee for your busiest days, 1 cup for your days off or your less busy days. And then eventually 1 cup of coffee per day, and then you get to the point. You're sort of slowly letting go of that thing. And your body will thank you for it later. This method works for a lot of food diet things probably. I don't know if it would work hardcore with sort of, alcohol or smoking or those things. That's when I recommend, you go to your doctor too, or go to a doctor and ask them, hey, this is something I don't want in my life anymore. I could tell that it's affecting me. What can I do? So of course the bigger things, if you've got sort of that addiction to it, or it's something that you feel like you absolutely can't live without, but you want to live without it, doctors, specialists, maybe try to do that. Or I don't know, you could try that method, weaning off of it, but I know people who just can't do that. So that advice again is for me. That's my life hack. I've done that a little bit in the past, not so much this week. I've been bad this week for like chocolate and coffee and takeout and such like that, but it is something I've done in the past that actually works out quite well. So yeah, like that advice is for you to either say, hell yeah, that sounds great, or just go, no, I need my coffee. Totally fine. This video isn't to try to persuade you to do anything. It's just telling you how I live my life and how there are benefits to it. So take that with a grain of salt, if you will. Now, I have recently moved many times. So I have moved to the UK, I have moved back from the UK, I moved from a basement suite to an apartment building, and now an apartment building to a house. All within like the last 3 years. Yeah, pretty much. So I have moved a lot, so I actually have quite a bit of advice when it comes to moving. Now some of this advice will be for moving, like if you're moving to a different city possibly, or even within the same city, like maybe small moves basically. Then I will also get into like the bigger moves, like moving countries or states or provinces, like different areas, and we'll talk about that. But overall, moving hacks. So moving is hella stressful. I know a lot of us will stare at everything we own and we're like, how do we get all of this stuff into boxes and get it out of here? How do I get my entire life packed away into like 3 suitcases? Which I've done. It is so overwhelming when we start thinking about it. But here is some advice to maybe hopefully help you guys maybe feel less anxious about it. One thing I like to do is if I know that I might be moving or potentially moving, I'll go through my whole stuff, all of it. Go through clothes, go through books, go through whatever I own basically. And I start doing that sort of, I do that thing where it's like, will I wear this regularly in my new place? Do I like wearing this? Do I like using this? Have I used this? Have I read this already? I start asking myself these things, and if the answers are like, yes, I want to keep it, or yes, I do use it, then I'll keep it, obviously. But if you start saying no to some of these things, it might be okay to find a new place for it. You could donate it to charity, you can give it to other family members, you can give it away to friends, you can maybe try to sell it. And there are options to help you downsize. So that's what I like to do first, is to sort of take inventory of what I've got, figure out what I use regularly and what I like and what I want to keep, and then start downsizing and get rid of the things that I don't need anymore. Because when you are moving to a different country, for example, it is very difficult to bring every single item you own for like across seas. Like I did. It's nearly impossible. So what do? Well, you downsize. You have to downsize. It's hard because sometimes your favorite dish is just the one that you absolutely love and you want to use it and you have big baking ideas for it. But if you don't need it and you can just get it somewhere else, you can replace it. Items are replaceable. The things you want to keep are maybe like the dresses you've worn because they have really good memories, photos, posters, books you've read that are really great and you love them, and every time you see it on the shelf it just makes you smile. The things that really mean the most to you, of course you want to keep. But the things that are replaceable, like dishes, desks, chairs, lamps, like those things you can replace easily. And every place in the world has somewhere cheaper you can get these things too. So there's that option, and I recommend it. Downsizing hurts a little, I'm not gonna lie. There's some things I've donated or given up or have in storage somewhere where I'm like, it would be so nice to have you. But again, things are replaceable. Your memories and joy aren't. So the things that give you really good memories or have like lots of joy, keep it, hang on to it. It's important. So yeah, you got to downsize a little bit there. Now what do you do after you downsize? You've taken stock, you've downsized, you've donated. Now it's starting to get to the time of the move. What do? I tend to pack by zone. So let's take a bedroom, for example. I will pack things from, I'll start with like maybe the closet. So then I'll start packing everything from my closet into boxes or suitcases, whatever really. And then that way I can label those things too. So pack by zone and label it. So you have closets, and then you write closet on the box, or maybe you get like a little piece of tape and write closet and tape it to your suitcase. Whatever, that's really, really helpful. Something I should have done, honestly, this past move was label things, but, you know, it was a hard week, so I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, that actually really helps with your organization too. And if you pack by zone, it means you're not packing everything all at once and overwhelming yourself. You're taking it bit by bit, which helps a lot. So when you pack by zone, it reduces that stress. You can say, you know what, this week I'm going to pack everything in the bedroom. Like if you're packing a whole house, for example, I'm going to pack everything in the kids' bedroom. And then that way it's packed. Although maybe you don't want to do the kids' bedroom right away because the kids will like their toys and things, of course. But just for example, maybe you're like, this week I'll pack up the things that we don't need in the kitchen. Then the next week I'll pack things that we don't need from the bathrooms. Then the living room. And then you can slowly kind of build that up, right? If you have that time, of course. If you have like 8 weeks to pack, then cool, do it. Sometimes we have a lot less time. But again, if you pack by zone, you can give yourself breaks. So let's say you have to move in like 2 weeks, which is hard, but not too hard. Kind of. You can still think about like maybe every second day you can pack a different part of the house or a different part of the room. And that way you're giving yourself like a day break to kind of handle your regular daily life stuff. And then kind of just take it easy. So there's that flexibility. Now, I am someone who had to pack up their entire life and move within like 6 days. What the hell do you do then? Especially because I was teaching, I was still working, I was commuting, I was still living with roommates, and they wanted to hang out and help. And like during that last week, like, what do you do? And like, how, if you have to move so quickly, you can still pack by zone. Just give yourself like, maybe it might become a thing where you have to give yourself 20-minute breaks and still go from zone to zone to zone. It might be that you have to do one whole day where you're just downsizing, get rid of things, to the next day packing up your desk area and your closet, the next day your bed area and drawers, and like it's really stressful to like have to move in a short amount of time. But again, organizing yourself by packing into zones still helps, absolutely. That's pretty much a lot of that. Now let's talk about the bigger part though. If you're moving so if you're moving within a city, it's not too bad. You could probably find friends or family with vehicles to help you kind of take things from one place to the other. And luckily enough, you know, I have family that live here, and that's how it worked out for me in this recent move. We all packed things up into a van. I borrowed my uncle's truck, and next thing you know, boom, I'm here. And you could probably be in that situation too, hopefully, or you can find maybe a colleague at work, that kind of thing. There's usually someone there to help you move within a city. And if you don't have anyone, that's when we have to start budgeting. We need a budget for a moving truck if you need it. How many trips in your car are you going to take to the new place? And you have to start thinking about that, budgeting your time, your gas, and money if you need to. I would recommend doing that as soon as you know you're going to move or you have to move. Maybe sit down that evening with your partner, with your family, and budget. figure it out. It's not fun when money is involved and you have to like stare at that number, but at least you can work up to it and you can kind of maybe start saving for it or borrow money from someone. There's like, at least you give yourself that time to make it happen. So yeah, when you're moving from like a city or even to like cities close by, you can usually find a way to have a colleague help you, a friend help you, family. It's nice when there's like friends you know that have big vehicles, because that kind of really helps with everything. But if you don't, then you need to start budgeting for a moving truck. Compare rates across the board, what moving truck company is the best, etc. And sometimes if you're moving to a different city or region, you may need to figure out postal and the sizes of your boxes, the weight of it, how much that would all come to roughly. That's when things get stressful and a little hairy. Is when you need to think about, oh crap, I need to get all of this stuff to like a city 8 hours away or 9 hours away or further. What do I do? So you need to budget your time, your money, and make the plans and arrangements with whoever you need to. Moving countries is a different ball game altogether. You have to figure out your flight cost, what your suitcase allowance is, the weights of your suitcase, how much you can bring with you, and if you leave anything behind, do you want to get that shipped and send it over? Like, there is so much involved with moving to a different country. I managed to store and downsize enough that I moved to the UK with 3 suitcases. That's it. I had a carry-on bag, a small suitcase, then 2 other suitcases that I paid for. Or no, 1 suitcase I paid for because the other one kind of came with a ticket. Yeah, that's how it worked. I packed my whole life in just those bags. Now, I was in a lucky situation. I was living with family before, so I could always leave like the furniture behind. I left the lamps behind. I didn't have to bring a bed or a chair or any of that with me. And I was really smart about my move in the UK because we did a house share with 2 roommates, and the house came furnished, so I didn't need a desk or a chair or really anything like that. It was all there basically. So that was nice. That really helped, of course. But then now you have to think about that. Oh my goodness, I'm moving to a new country. I have to find a place to live. I have to make sure I can afford it. What will be my budget for all of that? How much will the ticket cost? What do I want to bring with us? How much am I bringing with us? How much can I get over there versus what I have here? Moving countries is hard. And this idea of packing by zone, taking your time, may not work, but it can still help. Even if you start downsizing by looking at each room, or you start making arrangements with family, if like you can leave this here, or if you can donate it, or you have those options. It's not the end of the world, but I know it is hard. So it's just, you have to figure it out. Luckily, if you do it with people, like your mom, your dad, your gran, your family, whoever, it helps. Definitely ask for help if you're moving across seas or into a different country and what you all need, because it is possible. You can do it. I've done it. It's just you need to get all the help you need along the way. So that is what I recommend for moving. Pack, downsize, take stock of your inventory, downsize what you don't need, donate it, sell it, maybe earn some extra cash, give it to family, maybe store it at family's places, whatever you need to do. And then, in order to move, you need to figure out the budgets, your time, how many trips is it going to take to move everything, how many suitcases can I bring with me, how much am I willing to ship over. You need to figure that. That would be your next step, basically, your next part of the moving process. Budgeting which involves your time, money, and effort, basically. Then taking stock of inventory, downsizing, and then selling, earning some extra cash. Then the next step is, what is your move process? Are you moving immediately? Are you moving in like a month from now, 2 months from now? And begin creating sort of a weird packing schedule based on that. This week I'm going to tackle the living room. Next week I'll tackle the kitchen. Or maybe today I'll tackle the living room. Tomorrow I'll tackle the kitchen. Packing my zone. And then labeling those boxes, because that really, really helps when you're trying to find things when you get to your new place. Yeah, I should have done that, but that's fine. I now know something that maybe will help you and me for the next time. Hey. Then, you figure that out, and then when it comes to the moving day, what are you doing? Do you have a moving truck coming? What time are they coming at? If you are having friends or family helping you, what time are they coming to help you? What do you need to do to get ready for that? And, if you've done everything well enough, usually the moving day is potentially the less stressful part of the move. For me, oh my goodness, it took us less than probably about an hour and a half to move to this place that I'm in right now. Because I had organized everything well in advance. And I had everything pretty much packed up and good to go. And it's basically ready almost 2 days earlier than the actual moving day, because I'm a planner and that's the way I do things. But that is my advice. Life is hell. I'm not gonna lie, I feel it. I've been feeling it this week a bit. But when you have even just the start of some of these going on, you begin doing it, you start to feel better. You were like, whoa, I actually wrote down my schedule this week, and now I know what to do and when I need to do it and what free time I have. Even that small little thing helps you feel way better. Sometimes you also want to write down, if you are a meal prepper like I am, maybe you'll start beginning to actually plan out your meals for the whole week. How many meals you need? What do you want to eat? How much time do you have to cook it? Those kinds of things. You begin, once you get into that routine and that kind of way of life, you start to feel like you actually have some sort of control in this crazy life of ours. You start to feel like, oh, I can do that. I am able to manage all of this. I can work 4 jobs and still have a free time. What? Believe me, it does happen. For today, for example, my day off, I have so much planned for today. But what's nice is that I've cut off my evening. As soon as 7:30 p.m. hits, I am chilling at my computer and I'm calling a friend. You can do that. You have that agency in your life to do it. It's just a matter of maybe taking in some of these hacks and trying it out for yourself and seeing if it does help you feel better. I know for me, I gotta get back to some of these things myself. I know I'm not perfect. It sounds like I've got my shit together, but I really don't. But coming into the next week, I definitely need to get back into the planner, use it, structure my life a little differently and a bit more better, and I will hopefully also feel better once I'm out of that kind of funk that I've been in. So this is a little shorter episode today, but I want to know, what are your life hacks? What are some things that you do to help manage your chaos? What do you do? Some of it might be very different from what I do, and I would love to hear it. We're always growing and learning as humans. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a teacher. I like learning things. So maybe you've got a hack for me that I should try. Maybe you want me to get a meal prep planner. I don't know. Stuff like that happens and exists apparently. I don't know. But yeah, these are my life hacks. Having a planner, setting routines with wiggle room so you're not tied down to a time in a specific moment. And then cutting things out completely is the wrong way to do it. start by easing off of it slowly until eventually you get to the point where you're like, hey, I have no sugar in my coffee now. And yes, celebrate those moments too. Very important. And then yes, I went into a lot of moving hacks for you all because we move. Life is always moving, and so do we. So you pack by zone, you set your budgets, you figure out the time you need, and you pack by zone, you label the boxes after you finish packing each zone, and then you've got your moving day planned to a T, so that way it just becomes the easiest part of the move. That is all of my crazy advice. We're doing a little shorter episode today, but I hope all of you took something from this, and maybe you'll try something new in your life to maybe help you feel just a smidge better. Because I know that I do when I start using these things myself. And if you know you're a person who isn't this organized or structured like I am, there are people you can talk to help manage your life. I see a therapist, and she helps me kind of keep track of things, and she knows that I'm a planner, so when it becomes nights where I know I have things I want to do to get done, but I don't feel like doing it, she's super nice and told me to plan one thing each day that has nothing to do with productivity, so that way when I feel overwhelmed or tired, I can just skip to that thing. So there are ways that you can do this, and if you talk to a therapist, or maybe you've got a family member who just seems to have it all together, you can talk to them, your friends, maybe even your doctor, because your doctor knows you very well from the inside out, literally. And there are people you can talk to kind of figure out, well, it sounds nice that these people have planners and are very structured and organized. I'm not that way, so how do I feel like a competent human when I'm not that person or that kind of person? So that'll be my last little thing there, little mental health thing, is seek help if you need it. Life is hard. Sometimes you just can't do any of this, and I get it. I've done it this week. It's very hard sometimes to just be like, yeah, from 9 a.m. to like 8 p.m. I'm gonna be busy today. Sometimes just even noticing that is like, oh God, why did I do this to myself? But there are those that are out there to help you, and your life will hopefully get better if you can have access to some of these things or try some of these things. With that, I will stop rambling because I do that when I'm excited, and thank you all for listening. I hope you learned something today or will be willing to try something new. And if you have a life hack for me, let me know in the comments, because I'm all about trying to improve my life so we can help each other out. With that, I will end it here. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.